Graveyard Graham, Midnight Ride, etc. Last week while I was on vacation, I caught up on Daredevil and Reacher. I did a write-up of those on Substack. I'll just go ahead and link to that below so that I don't repeat myself too much between here and there. Reacher ended. It ended well. I haven't looked at any of the behind-the-scenes stuff to wonder about whether they're going to do more seasons. I assume they will. I'm pretty sure it's been a successful show for Amazon. It's been consistently entertaining. At the end of the third season, I'm just going to say I still think the first season was best. And, last season had some major plot holes and execution holes, but the pieces of it were still very entertaining to watch. This one, the pieces were good enough to get you to the ending, and the ending was exciting. I had a good time watching it. And then they dumped 2 episodes of Daredevil last week instead of just 1. I'm not sure why, but it's fine. I had some critique and some praise for those almost in equal measure. But I really like what they're doing with it. They're just carrying on from the Netflix version, but like I said, bringing him into the MCU and reminding you of that along the way, and obviously building up to a big showdown between him and Kingpin again, as both of them kind of regress to these alter egos of theirs, for better or worse. I guess some behind-the-scenes pictures slipped out from future episodes. You know how it is with all these superhero movies. Like every movie or every season, they have a slightly different version of the costume, just because over the decades there have been several different versions of them. And it gives them an excuse to show something new, show something cool. If they make action figures to sell a variant of the toy. Well, in the show, we've seen his classic red Daredevil suit, and then I guess in She-Hulk they did his red and gold Daredevil suit, and in an upcoming episode, he's going to have his black Daredevil suit, which can be pretty cool. Like the stills that I saw looked great. So. Continuing to enjoy that. While I was with my in-laws, my grandmother-in-law loves to watch B movies, but I don't just mean a B movie like Reign of Fire, because that had a production budget and actors you'd recognize. She likes to watch 2 a.m. Sci-Fi Channel B movies like Electro Storm and EMP Hurricane, or she'll watch all those really crappy ones. About 10 years back, when my wife was pregnant with our son, she got really sick, and so Grandma came to stay with us and help out. And whenever my wife was napping, Grandma would just pop on Netflix and watch a B movie. It's like, hey, if you like tornado movies and stuff, you should check out the Sharknado franchise. That was the one thing she wouldn't touch, because she doesn't like sharks. So while we were there visiting my in-laws, my mother-in-law and her mother, my grandmother-in-law, they're like, well, let's take a look at what movies are on streaming that she'd want to watch. And she found this one on, I think it was on Paramount. It's called Singularity. And I feel like I've seen this one recommended before, but I look at the description and it's just one of those meh. I watch, I'm not interested in watching that. But my mother-in-law wanted to watch it, so I was like, okay, cool, we'll check it out. It passes the smell test. Everybody should enjoy it. This was a bad movie. My interest in it was less than meh at about the 20-minute point. The only actor you'd recognize in this thing is John Cusack. I got on Wikipedia, and according to that, this movie had a budget of $100,000. I feel like $25,000 of that went to John Cusack so that he would stand in mostly the same room and recite his lines, and then they would do whatever blue screen CGI stuff to him later on that they had to work him into the movie. The idea is that some sort of Steve Jobs, Elon Musk type guy does an iRobot where he integrates technology with freaking everything around the world, and then turns on the superest supercomputer, and it takes about 30 seconds to decide that it needs to wipe out humanity. And then 100 years later, most humans are hiding underground or whatever, and there are robots that are running around hunting them. Some of the mech stuff looked cool or whatever, but I got about a third of the way through the movie before I turned to my wife and said, like, this is directly a crossover of the Terminator Salvation movie and the Hunger Games. Like, there was a male lead and a female lead. And, like, he was Sam Worthington from Terminator Salvation, and she was Katniss Everdeen, like, to the look and everything. And he was secretly a robot. You saw him in the year 2020, and then he wakes up in 2117 or something, and he looks exactly the same. It's like, yep, he's a cyborg. Sure enough, he was. Yeah, even under the part where like he gets captured and she starts getting assaulted by a band of ruffians, and main character Cyborg Boy activates his superpowers and he just beats the piss out of all these guys that are like very aggressively pulling at the lapels of her jacket. Like, oh no, if this goes on for 3 or 4 more minutes, they might get her jacket off and expose her tank top. Oh no. It's a dog crap movie. I tried to go easy on it for sake of my mother-in-law, who is a very sweet individual, and it would have been really easy for me to like go too far and just beat up on her movie choice. Like, I do a few wisecracks, but most of my harshest criticism I saved for when I was joking with my wife about it later on. Her tastes have probably adopted more of mine than my tastes have adopted of hers. She's definitely like watched more shows that I've recommended than the inverse, which could be bad, So I take one on the chin whenever she's like, "Oh, let's watch this Doctor Who episode," and like, okay, cool. The last one was really good, and then we watched the next one. I was like, that one wasn't good at all. But I still sit through it just so that I'm not like constantly telling her like, no, all of your tastes have to be like mine. Like, no, I won't do that. But she's gotten better about analyzing what she likes or dislikes about a book or a movie or whatever. I still kind of tease her that for the first several years that we were married, if she was reading a book and I'd ask her, I was like, oh, what do you think of that? Her response was always, oh, it was good, I liked it. Instead of like okay, why? What's the plot? What do you like about the characters? Whatever. Just the way that she was. Anyway, so we watched that, and what have I got on deck this week? Well, I think we're finally getting closer to the time of year when good movies might be coming out regularly. And so next week, not this week, but next week, The Amateur comes out with Rami Malek. And I'm interested in that one. That's probably going to be the first one I'll go see in theaters. And then I think maybe a month later, is when Thunderbolts comes out. I know it's in May, but I can't remember if it's the beginning or the end. Stoked for that. I'm going to have to flip a coin in July because there are back-to-back weeks when movies are coming out I want to see. There's Jurassic World and Superman in July. I'll probably, like, my kids definitely want to see Jurassic World. I'll probably go to Superman by myself. Just freaking save money on movie tickets. But that's what's going on. When I'm in between other stuff and I'm just looking for a background noise TV show, watching Longmire, and I'll get back into doing kind of episode recaps and thoughts on that here. But that's what I've been watching lately. In summary, I still recommend Daredevil and Reacher, content warning for language, and I do not recommend Singularity, a movie from 2017 with John Cusack. Why do I not recommend it? Because it sucked. All right, drive safe. See you out there.